Welcome. In this lifetime, I am Rachel Rendell, healer and psychic medium. I'm lucky enough to work with spirit every day, where I can be holding space for those who need to come to me to find themselves. And as we go into this energy on New Earth, November, I feel, is going to give us lots of opportunity for change, opportunity for rebirth, opportunity for letting go of the old and embracing who we are. And I've come today to talk to you about me, actually, and I often find that really uncomfortable to talk about me. I've always felt, as a working healer and medium for the last 22 years working in the field, I've always felt there's that part of me that is Rachel, that is the human being, that has felt it's not about you, you have to put your client first and don't show parts of you because that's not what they need. But I've begun to see that actually if I share parts of my own journey, it can help people to see how to work spiritually, as rather than just allowing this persona of to be, oh yes, I have all the answers, I understand it. Over the years I've said to people, don't put me on a pedestal. I am living in a human body just like everybody else who's living on the earth plane right now, and it's people have this preconceived ideas that I have all the answers, and I haven't. So today I just wanted to come and share with you, because I really truly felt that there's probably lots of people out there right now that are sensing and feeling what I've been sensing and feeling, what I've been going through, and it's been quite a lonely place. And one of the things that I chose in this lifetime, I know, is to be a bit of a lone wolf. Every time I want to reach out to find somebody, there's never anybody there, and it always comes back to there is somebody there, it's me. And I've realized this. So everything really comes back to self. Everything comes back to self, taking responsibility for self. In all the years that I've been learning and teaching people and helping people in relationships, the amount of times that people have said to me, well, why is it always me that has to change? And I've really seen that it's because everything comes back to self. Actually being in a relationship, when it's not about changing yourself to fit in with the other person, the change that happens when you're working on something within a relationship that can be difficult, that you're together for a reason because you're learning lots. When you go within and you change yourself within, or your reaction to the other person's stuff, the other person's actions, when we change a reaction, that's where the magic really happens. So bringing it back to self, don't know why I'm talking about that, but somebody needs to hear that, of that it's bringing back into self, to go within, to change or to not react to somebody else's actions. So that's really what changing self means within a relationship. Anyway, got totally sidetracked straight away. What I wanted to talk about is that for the last few weeks I found myself asking the question, who am I? And I don't mean in this lifetime. I've known for, I think since I was a child, that there's more to life than this. And I've really been deeply putting deep thought energy, not thinking, a knowing energy. I've been asking my higher knowing, my higher self, who am I? And I've been doing it. I've been doing it for a few weeks, really, I suppose, bringing it into my conscious self, but I've been almost subconsciously and consciously doing it since 2021. 2021 was a really, was it, when did COVID hit? 2020, I think, wasn't it? So 2020, so it must have been 2020 that I was very aware that I kept having moments where I would be aware of other lifetimes, what I was doing in other lifetimes. So since I've been asking this deep question, who am I? It's really been bringing me back into my heart center much deeper. It's like I said, everything comes back to self. Self is here. This is us. This is self love. And so yesterday morning I went deep into meditation, and I was asking the question, who am I? I was shown all the lifetimes that I'm living right now. I was shown a shaman. I was shown goddesses, high priestesses, lots of lifetimes as high priestess in different faiths. I was shown a Japanese life, Indian lives, and then finally I was shown a tree. And I'm laughing because I often say to people, I'm sure I'm a tree in another lifetime, and jokingly, never really bringing it to my my conscious thought. It's just that jokingly, you know, when life's got tough for me, I've often said to myself, it's okay, be a tree. You're rooted, grounded into the earth, you're here, you're experiencing what it is that you are experiencing right now to learn to grow, but be a tree, you know, standing strong, knowing when to move, when to go with the flow when there's storms, knowing which bits to let go of, which branches to shed. And it's going through the process and trusting the process of losing your leaves, going within. This time of year for me, I've always found, I love autumn, but I find it really difficult as we go from autumn into winter, still being present with everybody, because all I want to do is go and find my cave and go into my cave. That was another lifetime, sat in the cave, a yogi, so that was another lifetime. And so where I am sat in that cave, I'm sat in the woods. I've seen all of these lifetimes. So like I say, finally I was shown a tree, and then just before I was shown myself as a tree in another lifetime, this makes me quite emotional, my guide, who I've always said my guide, and people over the years have said to me, who is your guide? And I say, I don't know. They've often told me they're a fusion of Japanese, Chinese, Indian. They're a fusion. They're a fusion of all of this. And because I'm a Reiki master, that's the Japanese. You know, it's that, and I know, samurai. A samurai warrior, so I'm a samurai warrior as well in another lifetime. So there's all of these lifetimes that I've lived. They're not all spiritual lifetimes. I've been shown lifetimes where I was really not a nice person, and yeah, but plenty of lifetimes I've been shown also that I'm having where my vibration is low. So coming back to, as I was the tree and I got the answer, my guide, who I've always called my guide, never really asked who they are, what their name is. They've just been there. They're a taskmaster, and I've always felt like they're very similar to me. So that hard on themselves, but not hard on themselves. So their discipline is what I was thinking they were hard on themselves. my being hard on myself, I've realised in this lifetime, is because I'm not allowing myself the self-discipline to be self. So coming back to the question, who am I? There was the tree, there was my guide. He looks a bit mandolin, Japanese, Tibetan, Mongolian. I feel like that's how he looks. This long moustache, long thin moustache with the cane. And he said to me, I've come to give you the answer, for I am you. For I am you. And I am love. And that is the answer. The answer is love. Who am I? Love. Excuse me, getting emotional, because I did get extremely emotional. I sat and sobbed and said, how can I be love? Because, like I said, always been very hard on myself, but I've known that there's that side to me that is hugely loving. I am an empath. I am hugely compassionate. And the person that's been missing what they deserve, the person I've not been giving that love, that compassion, that empathy to, is me. And so that's that realization of that the answer is I am love. It blew my mind. I don't mind saying it absolutely blew my mind. Now, I've been working with a group of Arcturians. This is what they've been telling me. A group of Arcturians from Arcturus. I didn't know there's a bookshop in Totnes in South Devon. I love to go there, and it's called, I think it was a centre. Anyway, Arcturus, it was a bookshop and a centre, I think. So that was the only reason I knew the word Arcturus. And when they started to come to me, these beings, first of all, it was just the priestesses, and they are a bright blue, like sort of like opalite. So they are. It's a cross between opalite and angelite. It's that really soft blue, but it's got a vibrancy. And so they're dressed in these long blue robes, but they're blue. I don't feel they're light beings really, but they're blue. Their faces, they're not like they don't have a physical. Okay, so they are light beings, and they've been talking to me for actually a few months. They've been talking to me for a few months. Back at the beginning of the summer, they started to talk to me, and they've got stronger and stronger. And as they've been around me, there's always 4 ladies, 4 feminine energies. And they've told me they're priestesses. Well, yesterday, after I got my answer, I am love, they told me that I was one of these priestesses, and they told me that I was the high priestess. And I was aware of a more masculine energy, and his pure, brilliant white light. So he's been around, and he was standing there yesterday as well. And they were telling me that I'm ready to tap into the information of this lifetime where I am living in, I'm assuming, or around Arcturus. Arcturus being the star, I think. I don't think Arcturus is the planet. I think the star is Arcturus. And so they were standing there. And the high priest, he came forwards and he said to me, write this down. So I got a pen, piece of paper, and he said, standing in love is my conscious state of being. Standing in love is my conscious state of being. So he said to me, write down the corresponding numbers to each letter, i.e. in the alphabet, 1 to 26. So I wrote down the numbers under the words of the each. So S, I, L, I, hang on, S, I, L, I, M, C, S, O, B. Here is what I wrote down. Hopefully you can see it. I've put it to the front of my, sellotaped it to the front of my diary. So standing in love is my constant state of being. So S is 19, I as 9, L 12, I 9, etc., etc. When you add them up, it comes to 92. And then adding that up comes to 11. So he said, write down the numbers, add them up. That is who you are. 11 being the master number. And he said, you were told many years ago, you are a master. And I can remember a conversation with my guide when I started to offer Reiki where I was being paid for Reiki. So I used to offer it with no charge, but when I went into, okay, this is going to be my living, I can remember my human being, my human part. I can remember Rachel saying to my guide, who is me now, I know, I need to do lots of courses, I need certificates, I need this, I need this. And he came to me and he stood in front of me and he said, be a master. A master is a master of one, not the many. Be a master. You create the space, we will send the people. And this was probably 2024, 2025. No, 2004, 2005, sorry. So a long time ago. And I've always listened to that. I've always reminded myself, I don't need to do that course. I don't need to do this course. All I need to do is concentrate on the Reiki. And then the readings came after the healing when they asked me to do psychic readings. So that came afterwards. But primarily I know I'm a healer because my readings are healing. So really, why am I here telling you all of this? The message that I'm here to tell everybody is that for a lot of people on earth right now, we are waking up to this state of knowing deeply who we are. And I expect a lot of you will relate to this, of where I've always kept myself so busy. It's like I'll be on the treadmill. If I'm busy, I don't need to think about it. I can just be the human being. I can just get on with it. Even when, with practicing as a healer for the last 22 years, I kept myself busy. And when you start to allow yourself the space to go, okay, I'm going to read this book because this is waking me up. I'm going to sit in meditation because this is waking me up. And we start to spend that time on getting to know ourselves, and we keep ourselves less busy. We allow ourselves to recognize, whoa, got to stop being so busy. We begin to find ourselves. So the purpose of coming here today is to invite you all to take a moment to ask yourself who you are. Something else that's extraordinary that I really love is the way that spirit works. We are all here to help each other. And last week I had a really wonderful gentleman. I've only met him once, but I could feel very big heart, beautiful being. In his soul, I could feel beautiful being. And he came to me. And within what we were talking about, I just happened to mention that I've been saying who am I? And he shared with me that in Zen Buddhism, there are 10, I can't remember what he called them, but there are 10 questions that they ask themselves, that they sit deep in meditation to be able to find this enlightenment, to be able to find themselves. And one of these questions is, who am I? And actually, thank you. I want to say thank you. I don't often talk about people that come to me because I think it's a very private thing. So, when people say to me, oh, you should write a book about all the experience, I think no, because it's a very private thing. Even if you don't need to know who it is. And it's that's Rachel, you see, Rachel coming into it thinking I shouldn't talk about what's happened with other people coming in. But I'm hugely grateful that he shared with me that in Zen Buddhism, that is one of the 10 questions. Who am I? So it's really allowed me to know that my guide, who I thought was always my guide, so now I've got to get used to, well, I think I'll always say my guide, but because my guide is me in another lifetime right now, that is living that lifetime of that master that is helping and teaching so many other people. Who knows? Maybe a Zen Buddhist, maybe a master in his own field in that lifetime. I don't ask too many questions, I just listen to him. I know he's a taskmaster. If I'm not paying attention or disciplined enough, I'll get a crack over the back of the neck with a stick where it's like, pay attention. But from his heart, it all comes back to discipline and going within. So I'm hugely grateful to him for sharing that, because it's really helped me, I suppose, on the journey to celebrating who I am. And who am I? I am love. You are love. We are all love, because we are all part of the consciousness that is love. Everybody's God is love. We are all part of the same, no matter our faith, our religion, what we believe. We are all part of the same. And the greater we can build ourselves to come within and to understand that actually to help those who aren't awake, the way to help them is not to go and find them and poke them and prod them and tell them, you should be doing this, you should be doing that. That's judgment. We don't need to judge, okay? We don't need to judge. We don't need to get angry at those who are not awake. So part of this shift that we're in right now is, as we are waking up as a consciousness, a lot of us are beginning to realise that you don't have to go out and change other people. It's not about changing other people to make life what it should be. It's about going within, finding yourself and creating your own happiness. Because as you create your own happiness, the person next to you will find their happiness. The person next to them will find their happiness, their contentment. And the more that we do that, the more that we will stand in love. And across the planet right now, there are thousands of people like you and I. You are like me, because otherwise you wouldn't be watching this if you were not part of what I'm talking about and what I'm believing. So as we begin to realise that standing in love, spreading that love, it goes to your neighbour and to their neighbour and to their neighbour. It's this state of consciousness. In other words, don't put frustration to those who at the top have ruled us. We've lots of us had allowed our power to be taken away, and we'd been controlled, and they've done it with making us fearful. And when we are frustrated, recognizing, getting angry at those who have been inflicting this and still are, they're winning. We're giving our power to them. When we can go, you get on and do that, I'm just going to stand in my own reality and do what I can in my life to make life right. Okay, so awareness, yes. Spread awareness, Don't get angry at them. Don't get frustration at them. The moment that you've got angry or frustrated at those who are trying to put rules in place, those who are controlling us through money, etc., the moment that you've let them rile you, they're in control. They have your power. The more you stand in love and you smile gently at them, it takes me back to as a child. I always deeply, I'm not, I've never been religious, but I have always felt a connection to the Christ energy, especially when the Christ energy was within Jesus. And I've always felt, whether the story's true or not doesn't matter, but I've always felt the teachings or the lesson of that when Jesus was suffering and having that suffering inflicted on him by those who thought they were in power, they couldn't take away his power, because he said, "Forgive them, for they know not what they do." That is not giving away your power, not going into the pain that they were inflicting. He was totally in his heart space, and that's what I'm talking about here. Don't give them your power. It's to go, you don't know what you're doing. It's fine. It's fine. My soul will continue on, and I will not go into that pain. And wow, I mean, what a teaching. So I really hope that sharing a little bit about what I've been doing will be helpful to those of you that this resonates with, and to give all of you a little bit of courage to go out there and shine your light as bright as you want to shine it, without being, I suppose, afraid of hurting anybody else's eyes who can't stand the light. Okay, don't worry about that. It's shine bright, spread your love. And just let's finish by saying, today we can celebrate who we truly are. And I would love for you to give some feedback, to let all of us know by commenting below. Let us know your journey, how you're finding who you are, and the strengths that you've had, and that you have finding your way coming through this. Okay, if you found this helpful, please share it, because I think we really need to help each other to wake up and not be afraid to shine our lights bright. Okay, love you all. Love and light.